What is up, everyone? Welcome to round 2 of the Portland Monthly Premodern Paper Magic Afternoons January 2025 tournament. We got some really rad decks to show, so let's get into those deck lists. First up, we have Marshall on 5-color Slivers. This is the second Sliver deck I believe we've ever covered on the channel, and this one's quite a bit different. Instead of opting for counter magic and a bit more of a mid-range plan, this list is going balls to the wall with aggro and really some cool choices. Now, if you're not familiar with the Sliver creature type, they are all different and all buff each other in some special way. So let's see what choices Marshall has made. We got 3 acidic Slivers, which give each Sliver pay 2, sacrifice this creature. This creature deals 2 damage to target creature or player. 1 Blade Sliver for 3 mana. All Slivers get +1/+0. 4 Crystalline Sliver, which is one of the best ones, if not the best one in the Premodern card pool, which gives all Slivers Shroud. 1 Essence Sliver, which gives Slivers a form of lifelink. 4 Hibernation Slivers, which gives all Slivers pay 2 life, return this permanent to its owner's hand. So another way to get around removal when you don't have Shroud. 1 Metallic Sliver, which is just a random artifact sliver, which is kind of hilarious. 4 Muscle Slivers, which are the lords of the group, giving all Slivers +1/+1. 3 Plated Slivers, which gives all Slivers +0/+1. 2 Sliver Queens, which is a 5 mana 7/7. Granted, you have to pay WUBRG to cast it, but probably one of the best rates in Premodern. Not only does it count as a sliver, because, you know, back in the day, legends weren't always the creature type they were representing, it also has pay 2, put a Sliver token into play, treat this token as a 1/1 colorless creature. And last but not least, 4 Winged Slivers, which gives all Slivers flying. On to spells, he's running 4 Fire and Ice, 4 Lightning Bolt, and 4 Swords to Plowshares. For mana fixing, he's got an Adakar Waste, a Battlefield Forge, a Caves of Koilos, 4 City Brasses, 4 Gemstone Mines, 2 Calderas, and 2 Caverns. So 4 layers to bounce those Gemstone Mines back to hand. He's also running 2 Reflecting Pools, a Shivan Reef, and 2 Thran Quarries, which are a really cool land for a very creature-heavy deck, but you do have to make sure you still have creatures on the board for that quarry to stick around. Sideboard, he's taking full advantage of the 5 colors his deck offers with 3 Annuls, 3 Duresses, 2 Engineered Plague, an additional Essence Sliver, 3 Ray of Revelations, and 3 Pyroblasts. All in all, this is a really cool list to see, very creative, and I can't wait to see how it plays. So let's see who he's playing against. Wouldn't you know it, 2 5-color decks in the same match? Moses is back with his 5-color Gators, and it's had a few changes since we last saw it. If you're not familiar with this deck, it is the epitome of the best mid-range cards in the format, but still remains base green to take advantage of the color fixing it provides. In this case, mainly just the 4 Birds of Paradise. For other color fixing, we are running 3 Undiscovered Paradise, which is a little interesting saying we're not running any Moxes to discard the Undiscovered Paradises. 2 4 Gemstone Mines, 4 City of Brasses, and 2 Lair Lands, the Treva's Runes and the Caldera, I believe. Oh no, the Cavern. Sorry, this photo is a little tough to read with some of the glare. There are also some spicy one-ofs, including 1 Landwar Elves, which I guess isn't that spicy, but then it's followed up immediately with Armageddon, an Impulse, and a Anurid Brush Hopper. I believe that's the 1 green and a white 3/4 that you can blink or phase out by discarding 2 cards. As for threats, we are running 4 Call to Herds, easily one of the best cards in the game, 4 Phyrexian Gators, which are honestly one of my favorite threats in the game, and a full playset of Metal Images, which also are good interaction. For the rest of his interaction, he is running 4 Swords to Plowshares, 3 Mana Leaks, 2 Naturalizes, 3 Fire Ices, 2 Lightning Bolts, and a couple of Wind Orbs just for extra spice. I do also want to call out the 2 Thornscape Apprentices, which work really well with Phyrexian Gator, being able to give it first strike, but also are just fantastic against single creature decks like Dreadnought and Oath decks, which allow it to tap a target creature by just paying a white and tap. Sideboard looks like we got another Brush Hopper, a Smother, 2 more of the Thornscape Apprentices, 2 more Naturalizes, a Ray Revelation, a Blue Elemental Blast, and a Hydroblast, 3 Engineered Plagues, 2 Tasabo's Webs, and 1 card I actually had to look up because I didn't recognize it, which is Shelter, 1 and a white instant. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn and draw a card. Pretty cool little include. I do wonder what that's for. Overall though, this just boils down to a really sweet mid-range deck. There's definitely more interaction than last time. We'll see how that plays out as we get into the games. And here we go. Marshall is on the left, Mose is on the right. Oh, looks like we're gonna get a little roll to see who goes first here. Obviously both players wanting to be on the play, but Marshall being the more aggressive deck would definitely benefit the most from it. Mose having far more answers to all his creatures, especially main board. Looks like Mose will be leading us off to a forest and a Birds of Paradise, which is arguably one of the best starts that he can have. Suddenly all colors are online for him. We'll see what Marshall can do. Does he have a turn 1 play to match? Alright, there is the gemstone mine. I do see his swords. At least one swords. I believe, unless that's a sliver. And then it looks like, no, he is actually going to play out a metallic sliver. This is an artifact creature, but it also does count as a sliver. That's just all that text says. It looks like we're tapping 2 for a Felwar Stone. Playing out a bird. Mo's very happy to have his Felwar Stone, one of in the deck, against a deck that plays so many multicolor lands. Alright, are we going to swords here? That is in fact a swords. Nope, going to play out the cavern to bounce the gemstone mine and play out a muscle sliver, buffing up his metallic, swinging in for 2. Now one nice thing about the slivers is they do all buff each other because it says all slivers. So it's not your typical lord effect where they're not affected by their own ability. Alright. I believe Mo's did just get a negator. Okay, we're going to play out the Thornscape Apprentice, then tap 3. Are we going to see the negator here? Being able to give it first strike. No, we're going to play out the Brush Hopper. Alright, well it is a 3/4. It is a good blocker. Although I see 2, are those winged slivers? They're the blue sliver that give flying. Oh yeah, playing back out the gemstone mine. Yes, can't block a couple flyers. Swing in for 4. Mo's down to 14, say go. Aggro deck doing aggro things. Now is Mo's going to start getting aggressive here. Play that with City Brass. Are we going to see the negator? That is the best way for him to catch up quick. I mean, the Brush Hopper can swing in for 3 this turn.
I have, yeah. I only like usually as a one of, but it's like an elephant blocker, stuff like that. The most recent deck I've used,
If he has some kind of fire ice in hand, that could be beneficial too. Alright, looks like we're just gonna go to combat, swing with the Brush Hopper. Oh, he does have a swords. Do you hold up swords mana? Alright, tapping 3. Are we going to be... Oh no, we're going to be playing Call the Herd. Alright. Get an elephant token. 3/3. Pass to you with a negator and a swords in hand. I think I see the line here. Mo's wanting to swords the wing sliver on a declaration of attacks, so all those slivers drop to the ground and then can get blocked by... well, just the elephant, but still, elephant taking on the muscle sliver will be pretty nasty. Of course, we know that Marshall has at least 1 swords in hand, as well as another wing sliver for redundancy, if he decides to play that out. But no, he actually might have 2 swords and a fire ice. That fire looking really tempting to take out some mana dorks. Oh, okay, we were just going to tap down the wing sliver. Move to combat. Swords the wing sliver. In response, swords the elephant token. Alright. And then still taking 4 here. Dropping to 9. Oh, that's right, but also getting 3 for the elephant. Up to 12. And how about another wing sliver? Yep. Pass to you. Those needing a bit more of interaction here, I think. Can still get in with this Brush Hopper. but needing a way to deal with the wing sliver. All right, we're gonna play out a Phyrexian Negator. I believe his kid actually did the altars on his Negators, which is super cute. Do love that. So this is kind of interesting. Okay, we're gonna bounce the land, play out the that's the caldera. Yeah, caldera is like part of the volcano, right? Geology 101 was a long time ago, guys. And are we just passing here? That doesn't seem right. Oh, that's right. Okay, we're gonna tap down the wing sliver. Okay. Just get in for 4 in the air again. Mo's down to 7. I tap 2. And what are we gonna do? Are we gonna fire the Thornscape Apprentice and a bird? I think just deciding if he wants to hit the Negator to make his opponent choose. I don't know. Much better for you to choose. I imagine Mo's would also just pick one of the birds as well. Alright, Mana Leak, and I'm not sure what the other card is in hand for Mo's. But then Negator will get Swords. A bit of an interesting choice, actually. No, I guess Mo's wasn't dead on the crackback necessarily, depending on what Marshall has in hand. Oh, there's another Negator. Alright. That was probably the right call then. So we are full-blown raising. Oh no, did he just draw a lightning bolt? That was the wrong call. If he had the lightning bolt in hand beforehand, that would have been lethal. Most would have been at 2. But all I can do is pass. And it looks like we're just going to get in for 8. Tapping 4. What do we got for 4? Oh, we can flashback call the herd. Alright, Mo's just going to pass. This might just be all over. Time to bolt you. Take 3. Down to 4. We have lethal on board. And a fire ice. I think this is game over. Swing all in. That'll be enough. We're going to go to game number 2. And here we are in game number 2. Aggro deck doing what it does. Getting a good win against the mid-range deck, actually. Was almost keeping pace there, but not quite aggressive enough to close the gap. Those Phyrexian Negators, almost enough. Of course, Marshall having 2 swords in hand and saving them for big threats being very beneficial. Alright, Gemstone Mine. It is funny, both players having a Fire Ice in hand. Oh, are we... Okay, tapping 2 for the Fellwar Stone. Those getting it both games. Very good card to have for sure. Alright, Caves of Coil is coming out. And there is the Crystalline Sliver. I don't know why he's flipping around, it's in Japanese. It will get countered though. The Mana Leak. Giving all your Slivers Shroud, it would be very difficult for Moses' deck to deal with. Now we did see that there is... Oh, getting aggressive with the Elf, swinging in for 1. We did see that there is several Engineer Plagues in Moses' sideboard, and those undoubtedly did come in. Alright, there's a Reflecting Pool. Tapping 2. Now this is the sliver where you can pay 2 life and bounce it back to your hand. the Hibernation Sliver. It is a bit of a steep cost, but being able to protect your key pieces is important.
Ones of those are like 150. Yeah, 50 bucks. Yeah. Very expensive. I just learned last week.
All right, Mo's having
Yeah, it's nuts.
so much mana. What are we gonna play out?
I'll play the Gator. Go.
How about a Negator? All right. That is definitely a good way to close the gap fast. And Marshall actually seeming a little flooded. I don't know if he has 3 lands in hand. It looks like it. One of which is a bounce one, so he might be playing that out this turn. Take care of the gemstone mine there. Now he could fire the elf and the Negator, forcing his opponent to sack a permanent. But that still doesn't take care of the Negator, so I'm not sure what the right call is here. I don't think that white card in hand is a swords. Alright, we're gonna play out a gemstone mine. No, it is in fact a rare revelation. Okay. He has a wing sliver in hand, which might be the call. Play out the wing sliver, swing for 2. The hibernation sliver and the wing are yeah, tapping for blue there. The hibernation sliver is a 2/2 actually. 2/2 for 2 is pretty good, especially in Premodern. Especially when it gives all your creatures a cool ability. All right. I'm just going to Paradise, going back to hand for Mo's. And then just playing it out for turn. His deck does not need a ton of mana, so he is actually, by all accounts, a bit flooded as well. Both players having tons of mana and not tons to do with it. Alright, we're gonna fire. Oh no, we're gonna tap down the Negator. Okay. Opting to not take 5 damage here. Instead, it's gonna take 1 off the elf. So it's gonna tap for 2, 3. Taking a point to do so. For an Engineered Plague naming Sliver that will get the winged sliver, but in response, Marshall's going to pay 2 life to bounce it back to his hand, thanks to the hibernation sliver's ability. And Marshall really needing to see either some sort of disenchant effect, which he does have a rare revelation in hand. It looks like that'll get fired off. Yep. Makes sense. Does Mo's have a counter spell up? Because Marshall can just flash it back. And he's definitely going to want to. Alright, tapping 2. To fire the Sliver and 0.1 damage at Marshall as well. So Marshall's either taking 1 point and loses his Sliver, or he takes 2 and bounces the Sliver back to hand. Now the Sliver is technically a 2/2, but it is a 1/1 thanks to Engineered Plague. At this point, I feel like you just take the extra point of damage and save yourself a creature. As rough as that is. One point, I don't think is going to make the difference in this game when your opponent has a 5/5 with trample that's swinging in. I'm not sure what Marshall is debating here. He does have a Thran Quarry, which does require a creature to be out. 2 wing slivers. Does he have a second hibernation sliver? Is that what maybe why he's considering it? Or is that a sliver queen in hand? I can't quite tell. Okay, so taking 2 to bounce it. Oh, it still does take the 1. Sorry, so he would take 3 damage. That's right. Fire doesn't fizzle. Alright, then tapping 2 to play it back out. Choosing to not bounce or flashback the rare revelation here. Opting for a creature instead. I think I see his plan here. That is a... Oh, that gets swords. Gain 1. That is a Sliver Queen in Marshall's hand. Grand Quarry will die. Really hoping that he could get the 5 different colors of mana to play it out. Unfortunately, will not get that chance. Okay, gonna pay 2 for the... Oop, yep. 2 for the Sliver, immediately casting that swords on the Negator. And Mo's so excited to swing in with his 1/1. Play land for turn. Forgot to bounce back the Underscore Paradise. Chump block here. Brush Hopper coming down. And say go. Both players playing pretty quickly, but we have plenty of time in round. Second Wing Sliver coming down. Say go. Are we going to get to see a Sliver Queen here? Alright, swing in for 3. Oh no, does Mo's have a mana leak? Are we going to see a Sliver Queen get mana leaked? Now, I believe that Undiscovered Paradise is in hand still. Okay, we're going to Impulse. That was not a mana leak. One card going to hand. Mystery card. Undiscovered Paradise for turn. Tap 3. Did we get a Negator? No, we got to call the herd. Hello, 3/3. Okay, I think we're gonna see a Sliver Queen. Hey, there it is. Channel first. That is really cool. 7/7 Sliver. You can pay 2 to make a 1/1. And just really hoping that Bose doesn't have a swords. Alright. Fire, hit you and the Sliver. Swing in, and that's actually going to be lethal. Mose takes down game number 2. Wow, that was a crazy game too. Mose getting that fire at the perfect time. Able to take out a blocker and deal the 1 point necessary to get your opponent down to lethal by either of your 3/3s. Nasty. And just when Marshall looked like he was stabilizing with the Sliver Queen, being able to play out at least 1 to 2 extra blockers a turn. And that thing just being so much of a house itself that I don't think Mose could swing in even if he wanted to. Alright, looks like Mose will be taking mulligan here. Marshall has a keepable 7 and is on the play. For the aggressive deck, this is exactly what you want to see. And I actually have been very impressed with the Sliver deck. It does definitely have its flaws, but as do most creature heavy decks. It's been kind of cool to see. We don't get to see many tribal decks outside of, or typal decks outside of goblins and elves, really. So it's always cool to see a cool brew. And this aggressive slant towards it makes a lot of sense. I do have to wonder if the Swords to Plowshares are a great include in here. I mean, they're obviously a very, very good card. But I almost wonder if you include more burn to try and expedite your opponent's life loss, especially when you're playing stuff that give your slivers evasion, like flying. And you want to potentially alpha strike. Because if you remember, in game 1, if Marshall had not swords that Gator, he actually would have had the win. Granted, he didn't know he was going to draw a bolt off the top, but he had at least a turn or two to do it before Mose played the second Negator. So there was definitely an opening there, and if there had been more burn instead of that swords, that may have clinched it, like an incinerate or something. I don't know, just something to think about. Okay, we're gonna play out an armored sliver, one of the mini 1-drops in the deck. All slivers get +0/+1. Now I can't remember exactly the stats of the armored sliver. It is a 1/1, so it's now technically a 1/2. Pay 2 for hibernation sliver. 2 mana, 2/3. Not too shabby. Mo's not fetching here. Maybe wanting to leave Swords mana open if he needs to go get it. I do believe he has 1 plains. Okay, there's a Thornscape Apprentice. Say go. Tapping for a white. Or maybe a black. A little unclear. Okay, probably just a colorless then. Get a blue for the sliver that flies. Swing in for 3 total. Yep. Oh, did Mose take an extra damage? No, he took 1 off of, yeah, okay. No, we're at the right life total. And Marshall reminding him to take a point for fetching. Okay, grab a plains. Are we gonna see a swords here then? Swords not doing a ton because the hibernation sliver can just bounce any sliver back to hand. But maybe just wanting to have access to the white for the apprentice to tap one of the creatures, maybe. There is not a lot of power on board yet. 2 1/1s and a 2/2. And if Mose has an engineered plague, that is going to be pretty devastating. Marshall will have to make the choice of paying 4 life to save them or let them die. See what he's got in hand. It's a little tough to tell. I think I see an engineer plague. Being able to dome your opponent for 4 when all you got is a 1/1 out does seem pretty decent though. Oh, I think I was looking at the brush hopper. It was at an angle and dark enough that it looked like a black card. Alright, we got a brush hopper. Can't block anything right now. Marshall having a ton of answers in hand. Swords and a bolt and 2 lands, and it looks like another one of the hibernation slivers, but maybe it's a crystalline sliver. Your opponent is all tapped out. This would be the time to play. No, it is a hibernation sliver. Okay. Swinging in for 4. Say go. Now Mose does have a swords in hand. It's just gonna pass. Looks like. Maybe a bit of a mistake to not swing in with the brush hopper unless he's trying to leave it up for a blocker. I guess, yeah, that does work. If he tries to swords the flying guy. There's an armored sliver again. All slivers now getting +0/+2. Also having flying. Also pay 2 life. Okay, here's 2 mana. What are we... They're impulsing here. Okay. I think this is happening before combat.
Rare signature to get. Yeah, I somehow got a place there. I think I may have mentioned that. Yes, you did. You're the only one who I know who knows.
Oh, seeing a Winter Orb, a fetch land. I'm not sure what the other 2 cards are. A Swords? I think that might be a Swords. And not sure what the 4th one is. But the 4th one is what he picked, so...
Common to see these type of signatures. The community that likes signatures is so small already. Yeah, totally.
Marshall, I think, just admiring the signed impulse.
Swords on the flyer.
Okay, Swords on the Flying Sliver. Ooh, and Marshall has the Swords up in response too. He can Swords the Brush Hopper so that no blocks will happen that are meaningful. Which might be what he wants to do here. Just deciding the best way to do it, I guess. He is going to take a point here. And in response to your Swords, I will also Swords. And Moses tapped out, so I'm not sure what he's... Oh, he's considering discarding 2 cards, yes. The Brush Hopper's other ability, discard 2 to blink it out till next turn. Alright, in that case, Marshall will pay the 2 life to bounce it back to hand. Mose will take 4. No, 5. And Mo's needing an answer here because he is staring at lethal on board right now. He has to get rid of that Wing Sliver, and even if he does, I don't think there's a response. How about an Engineered Plague, though? That's a hell of a response. Alright, well, it does cut down all the attack of those 1/1s. That is probably the perfect card. It does buy him at least a turn. We know Marshall has a Bolt in hand. Okay, Brush Hopper getting in. Interestingly, blocking, okay, and then bouncing. So only taking 2 points instead of 1. If this is a Muscle Sliver, no, this is a Crystalline Sliver, I think. Yeah, okay. All slivers now have Shroud. In response, tap down your guy. Swing for 1. Down to 5. Say go. Now Marshall needing another Bolt or even a Fire Ice or a Muscle Sliver. He's got a lot of outs. He is at 11. All right, combat. Nope, maybe not. I was trying to figure out his best option out here. I think I did see a Negator in hand. Obviously, that doesn't do much. All right, yeah, he's just going to swing in for 3. That is a bit of a risky play. Is that another Engineered Plague in Moses' hand? I think it might be. All right, there's a City Brass. Now do you just play out the wing sliver, swing for 2? And then you win, right? Yeah, down to 2. Bolt for the win. That's going to be a Mana League Bolt for the win. Oh my god, that was so close. And Slivers takes it down in 3. Holy cow. All right, those were some crazy games. Amazing to see the Slivers deck take it down in the duel of the 5-color decks. Great games by both players. Thanks everyone for watching. That was a pretty sweet game. So I'm gonna have to ask you to comment below what your favorite multicolor card is in Premodern. This helps YouTube know that you're not a bot and also just helps support the channel by boosting engagement, and I really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel financially, there is a Patreon link in the video description below. You can pledge as little as $1 and it just helps us make more Premodern videos, upgrade our camera gear, and do some traveling to go see other events like in Vegas, which will be coming out soon. All right, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.